Hello and welcome to this college basketball tip-off special previewing the West Virginia University Mountaineers heading into another season under head coach Mark Kellogg. And the goal, once again, is to get back to the NCAA tournament. The Mountaineers have had so much success under Coach Kellogg, and they're hoping to continue that success even though they've lost an all-program caliber player in J.J. Quinterly. So to discuss the Mountaineer women's basketball team, we welcome in our co-host, Sydney Cariel. And Sydney, wow, it's another very exciting season. The hype around this team last year was sky high, a squad that went undefeated at home and set some ticketing records along the way. I mean, the buzz in Morgantown and around the state continues to be high for this WVU women's basketball team. But the big question during the offseason, what will Coach Kellogg's team look like without All-American and former All-Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, J.J. Quinterly?
Yeah. Hey, Nick. So you think about it, of course, this question has been asked probably since that last game last season. And, it's been asked to all the players too. Jordan Harrison, now a senior, her fourth year in Mark Kellogg's system. She was asked about it recently this preseason. And she said, obviously, it's going to be tough because to have a player like JJ leave is a hard role to fill. And that would be for any team. But she said one thing that's unique about this team that none of us know yet because we haven't seen them play, is that their bench depth is much deeper this year than they had last year and maybe years past. So that's something that we're going to have to look at, and that could help moving forward in the season because, when we would see JJ get tired and have to leave the game, you could tell when she wasn't on the court. So maybe this year with a deeper bench, that might help fill that role with not just one player filling it, but a couple of players.
Yeah, such a great point, Sydney. And, Quinterly has had a lot of attention in the offseason, or her absence, I guess I should say, just as she drew a lot of attention from opponents throughout her career at WVU. I mean, she ended her career with one of the most iconic performances in a home game in WVU history, tying Meg Bulger's record with 38 points in a single game, right? But it has to be said that Quinterly is not the only player that's gone from this WVU team. They're also without Kylie Blackston, who was a regular starter for WVU, and Kaya Watson, who Coach Kellogg has referred to over and over again as a glue type of player. And he even described Watson previously to us as a player that he just couldn't take off the court. So it wasn't just Quinterly, right, that was such a critical piece to success for the last two NCAA tournament teams for WVU. Have to find a way to replace Watson's production as well.
Yeah, that's 100% correct, Nick. And also, I got to point out, you called it on JJ's last game. Just for people out there, you said it. You heard it from Nick first, pregame. But, Kaya Watson is going to be a huge role to fill, the two-time Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, all Big 12 guard. She was really the do-it-all glue player, right? You saw her flying all over, getting the ball, whether it be rebounds, hitting threes. She really did it all. But Coach Kellogg said the good news is they have a lot of options. It just depends which way they want to go. He said, do we want a guard Kaya-like, which then he pointed out no one can be like Kaya, but like a little bit more guard style, or do we want someone bigger, more post-like? So they've got options. It just depends which direction, and maybe it's a game-by-game scenario. So we'll see as the season gets going.
Yeah, so Sydney, we love spending time with Coach Kellogg. He's been great to us in his time here in Morgantown, and he's got some really interesting ways of describing things, and one that has really jumped out to me in preparation for a new season. Sometimes he refers to his players and their skill sets as bank accounts. How much can you withdraw from that bank account, right? And what will that player then give you? Quinterly has a six-figure bank account, right? I mean, that's been made clear. You don't have to take Kellogg's word for it, right? Take the Dallas Wings' word for it. When they signed Quinterly to a 3-year deal, it was valued at roughly $200,000 for the course of her rookie contract, right? So that's a great payout for a former Mountaineer. There are some other players, though, who are coming back. In fact, there's a core of 5 players who are returning for this West Virginia women's basketball team who all have varying different bank accounts. So I'll ask it to you this way, Sydney. Let's use Coach Kellogg's metaphor to describe his top talent. Who are the players on this West Virginia team that have the biggest bank accounts?
Well, who probably has the biggest in Coach Kellogg's system, if you will, would be Jordan Harrison, because she's been with him since her freshman year from Stephen A. Austin, came with him here to Morgantown. So she's got to have accumulated the most, I guess, I don't know. I was very confused when he first brought that up, by the way, but that it just went over my head, but I reeled it back in. It's all good. Sydney Shaw, I think, could also have a little bit more in her bank account because she transferred here from Auburn. So that's a tough school and tough environment to play in. And now she's already had 1 year under her belt of being here at WVU. So she's expected to step up a little bit as a senior, have a bigger role on the team. Sydney Woodley, senior. She was, here last year. Jordan Harrison pointed out that her defense, her production on defense has increased so much this offseason. And she even said she'd had 20 deflections at practice recently. So I think those are some names that have some more stock or I don't know, more money in their bank account or whatever. But also sophomore Jordan Thomas, we could see her getting a little bit more playing time because she did have to step into some big games last year that might have gave her more bills in her bank account, more dollar signs. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think you're spot on there about Thomas, Sid. And the reason for that is not just because she got some experience as a true freshman, and that was true particularly late in the year. They kind of relied on her a lot in the Big 12 and NCAA tournament. But she's also a player that you have to have in the modern day Big 12 conference, right? I mean, just look around the league. There are so many teams. The Big 12 is very deep when it comes to post players, and that is a really tough commodity to find in the women's college basketball game. And so if Jordan Thomas can be that type of player for them, a reliable post in the starting lineup, that's huge for West Virginia. There's one other returning player that I wanted to mention, Cece Riviere. She was kind of a role player last year, but she refers to her game as similar to Nikola Jokic, and I just think that's such a great comparison, right? Like if you have the guts to compare yourself to Jokic, you're definitely a baller, right?
Yes, yeah, and compare like you were saying about Jordan, she also got into games, later games in the season last year that helped her, I think, grow a lot towards the end of the year.
Okay, so that's the core of returners for this WVU basketball team. It's roughly half the roster, but there's about 6 or 7 newcomers who are going to have to make an impact, right? If this team is going to contend in the Big 12, going to make the NCAA tournament for a third year in a row under Kellogg, absolutely have to have these newcomers fit into the system and make impacts right away. So give me a couple, Sydney. What's the scouting report on some of these newcomers and who could also have a sizable bank account for Coach Kellogg?
Yeah, so Gia Cook, she's a transfer from Houston, or she played at Houston and Maryland. Redshirt junior, Gia Cook, her defense production has been really good this preseason, so that's something to look out for on the defensive side of the ball. But I think because she's seen such tough competition in her other 2 stops in her college career, that playing now in the Big 12, she could really thrive in this league, And then Logan Johnson, a junior guard from Texas Tech. So she spent the last 2 seasons of her college career as a Red Raider in the Big 12, knows this conference really well. I think that'll be huge, and that's going to really help her make a difference on this team. Just knowing the competition a little bit more could add more to her bank account, if you will. And you know what? This is so interesting, and I don't know how many other rosters in the country are like this, but Maddie Parrish is the only freshman on this roster, the only true freshman. She's from Mason, Ohio, just got here to Morgantown. The only true freshman. And Jordan Harrison said when she looks back to her freshman year in this system with Mark Kellogg's staff, the hardest part was getting up to speed, like seriously playing as fast as the Mountaineers play. So that's going to be a learning curve for her. But I think there's been a couple of not major injuries or anything, just those preseason nagging little injuries that'll be fine once the season starts. With a few players, that's gotten Maddie to get more reps this offseason, which could be huge for her as the season gets going.
Absolutely, Sydney. So Coach Kellogg, with roughly half of his team as newcomers, has said a number of times that this offseason and preseason has been all about building trust with his team. You have to have it when you play an up-tempo style like West Virginia does. Fast pace on offense and in your face all the way up and down the floor on defense. How important is building trust when you have so many newcomers?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Kellogg made a point to say that this preseason as well. They did a team retreat. We don't know where it was, but they did spend just a time of no basketball, just getting to know each other. And Jordan said it was a lot of talking about their families. They put pictures up so people got to know who they are outside of the court, which I think is huge in building trust. Because I don't know, you could learn something you have in common with someone that, how would you know that unless you're just sitting there having casual conversation, you know? They did some competitive things too, like they played kickball. Apparently the team's not good at kickball, but the staff is very good. So that's one thing they learned. But yeah, I think just building that camaraderie, which Coach Kellogg said so far in this off season, this team is really close and they get along really, really well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can take that off the court and see how they are gelled well together on the court.
Well, don't take our word for it. Let's listen into some of Coach Kellogg's comments about his 2025-26 West Virginia Mountaineers.
Yeah, I just talked about the bank account the other day a little bit. Well, any returner has their bank account is higher just because we've been through it together. And so, that's what we've talked about with our group as well, is like some of these returners, I've been in the fire. I know how they respond when adversity hits. I know what that looks like. Some of it's good, some of it's maybe not so good. Returner, or for the new kids, we're trying to go through that. They all really like each other off the court. Like they truly get along, but we don't know what's going to happen when we get punched a little bit in the face, and then what is that going to look like collectively? And so we're working through that. So everybody's bank account, it grows every day, every time you're on time, every time you do the right thing, you get to your treatments, you're making good grades, you're busting your butt in practice, your bank account grows. And then if you're not doing those things, then your bank account, obviously we're taking some withdrawals out of that thing. So it's a fluctuating system. But yeah, Jordan, obviously, because we've been together the longest, that bank account's significant. But Shaw produced that for us here in double figures and did a lot of really, really good things. So bank account grows. Jordan Thomas' bank account has grown from where she was a year ago, of course. But plenty to do for all of them and plenty of standards to hold these guys to. So we'll keep trying to grow it.
That's West Virginia coach Mark Kellogg, who ranks among the top 7 winningest active coaches in Division I women's basketball. Okay, let's get a quick final thought here from our co-host, Sydney Cariel. Sydney, can Coach Kellogg and the Mountaineers contend for a Big 12 conference title this season?
I think they can, especially if they stay dominant here at home in Morgantown at Hope Coliseum like they did last year and past years. Got to keep that home streak going.
Well, we'll see what happens. She's Sydney Cariel. Sydney, we look forward to a fantastic season of women's basketball here in Morgantown and to seeing your coverage of the Mountaineers.
I'm excited.
All right, that's a wrap on this college basketball tip-off special. West Virginia women's basketball hoping to contend in the Big 12 Conference and maybe move on to that next frontier. Made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament in back-to-back seasons. Can they go to the Sweet 16 or even farther under Coach Mark Kellogg? We'll see. Mountaineer women's basketball should be an exciting season. Thanks for tuning in for this college basketball special.